this video, I'm going to be talking about the most dangerous criminals that have used and done crime with the Kik Messenger app. I remember how in middle school I would use Kik daily as a messaging app, which was the app's intended purpose, but nowadays it's basically just another adult NSFW platform with pedophiles, groomers, and just straight up degeneracy, which is what we'll be diving into today. Before I get into specific cases of criminal activity done through the Kik app, I wanted to give you an idea as to how drastically this app changed, at least from the time I used to use it, because like I previously mentioned, I used to use it every single day, bro. You know, I've had drama go down in the DMs of Kik. Before, people used to be like, what's your snap? Or one people used to be like, hey yo shorty, what's your Kik? So now you know, at least from my personal experience, using solely the direct messaging feature with people I know, that wasn't all that bad. But I always had a hunch that there was something beneath the surface. Sometimes out of nowhere, I would get girls, random girls with profile pictures that were revealing, to say the least, saying things like, hey babe, the kissy face emoji on the side, and I'm like, you a bot. You a bot. And I kind of knew there were bots, or at least some person, you know, using that specific type of profile picture with malintent. So whenever those would come out, I would just block them. And as time went on, less people used Kik, and because of that, it kind of faded into obscurity, which was perfect for those who wanted to do illegal things with minors and keep it low key. Now, with literally every single adult content site under the sun, you have to be 18 plus. And I know that a lot of teens under 18 consume that type of content, even though it's not intended for them. Why regular surface level adult sites differ from Kik is because it's not like most teens or people under the age of 18 make an account and start chatting with people or start chatting with the creators on the platform, thus making them potential victims. But of course, that's not to say that there aren't exceptions, but I'm pretty sure majority of people just look up a video, they do their thing, and you know what goes on from there. Why Kik is different though? First of all, it's a messaging app. It's not even supposed to be an adult app. Also, you have to be at least 13 to sign up, and some of the very first things you see on the app is basically just adult content. The live stream feature on the app is full of NSFW content, and there are countless stories of people being groomed on this app. Even in the reviews of the app on the App Store, you can see examples of this. The point is, Kik is no longer that simple messaging app. Nowadays, there's a bunch of NSFW content on there, a lot of predators going after kids, and there's very little moderation because the app has just become so obscure. Now, I can keep going on and on giving exposition, but I'm pretty sure you understand what the point is. But now let's move on to the interesting part of this video, and let's talk about people who have committed crimes through the Kik app. The Federal Bureau of Investigation. They're the ones mainly responsible for catching cybercriminals / criminals committing crimes online through an app such as Kik or by other means. One well-known example is how the deep web marketplace for illegal goods, known as the Silk Road, was shut down by them, and the creator of said marketplace was subsequently arrested. And when it comes to inappropriate content involving minors, you bet they'll be involved as well, such as the case with a man by the name of Michael McClure. The FBI worked with the Walton County Sheriff Office in Florida on this case. What happened was an undercover FBI agent saw him sending images of CP to a quote-unquote group of like-minded individuals through the Kik Messenger app. Last year in August, he was quote allegedly part of an ongoing child exploitation operation to produce, distribute, receive, and possess CP, end quote. And due to the limited amount of information that I could find on this case, I was only able to find that he pleaded guilty and he quote admitted to engaging in a child exploitation enterprise with others on Kik Messenger who were working together to victimize multiple minors across the country during 2020 and 2021. Michael McClure is facing a minimum of 20 years to life in prison. Look at this! Look at this! Look it. Bro, swinanditclothes.com, you know what I'm saying? And use code, hold up, this hand right here. Use code JOEMAMA for 15% off this hoodie. This hoodie comes in a bunch of different colors too, you know what I'm saying? You can see it on the screen right now, you know what I'm saying? If you don't want to support me through hoodies, I got a Patreon, $1 a month, you know what I'm saying? Alright, one last shameless plug. You know how a bunch of YouTubers be just getting demonetized and age restricted and all that stuff? One day, our channel's gonna be up there, and more likely than not, I'm gonna get demonetized, I'm gonna get age restricted. I want to be able to have a platform on Twitter so that I can be able to contact YouTube. That's the best way to contact them. I post memes on my Twitter too, so you'll find some sort of value on my Twitter. Let's go back to the video though. July 13, 2021. The Alexander County Sheriff's Office had received information for a possible location of a known criminal who's done many internet crimes. In fact, this criminal is actually a fugitive and had many warrants for 15 counts related to the type of crime I previously mentioned, specifically in the state of Florida. Michael Dean Howley is facing 15 charges for crimes done in Florida despite the fact he's from North Carolina, and all of his inappropriate online activity took place in the Kick Messenger app. Here's everything he was charged for. You can pause and read if you'd like. Quote, a law enforcement officer with the Okaloosa County Sheriff's Office was behind the keyboard last November when Howley started messaging a fake account set up as a 13-year-old girl. Oscar says the thread lasting 5 days led to a subpoena for electronic information found on Howley's account. Howley and the online chat both asked for and sent nude photos to the law enforcement officer, end quote. After having tracked down his IP address, he was found in his home in North Carolina. The Okaloosa County Sheriff's Office issued a warrant for Michael's arrest and was subsequently booked in the Okaloosa County Jail. Now, one bit of information that I found interesting was the following. While doing my research on Michael, I found that he was placed under a $1 million secured bond. However, this was published in an older article, which was published July 14, 2021. And in the most recent one I found about him, written November 23rd, 2021, at the very end it says, according to the warrant served, a judge said no bond for Howley. And quote, the details of the warrant are graphic and will not be shared in this article, end quote. So I'm not sure if he has or had a bond or not, or if it's undetermined, or if he just simply doesn't have one because he's going to be there for life. But I have not seen any updates to this case. Nicole Lovell. Back in 2016, through the Kick app, she met 2 college students from Virginia Tech. One of them went by the username Dr. Tombstone. The real-life identity of said user was David Eisenhower, a straight-A student, a track star, and someone who had his whole life ahead of him, alongside Natalie Keeper. Quote, so the FBI puts in what they call an emergency disclosure request to Kick. They want to see Nicole's personal account, and they make a startling discovery. It turns out that in the last 2 days of her life, she'd been messaging with a person who had a chilling username, Dr. Tombstone. Using an IP address provided by Kick, investigators traced the screen name to David Eisenhower, 18, a freshman engineering student at Virginia Tech. When Eisenhower was brought in for questioning, it led them eventually to Natalie Keeper, which is how investigators found out that they were both related to the murder of Nicole Lovell. When her body was found, it turns out she was stabbed and her throat was cut. Natalie Keeper was sentenced to 40 years in prison, and David Eisenhower was sentenced to 50 years in prison. But before I end this section of the video, I found all this info about Lovell's case on CBS News site. Basically, what I read was a transcript of the 48 hours episode that they had about her. Towards the end, Peter Von Sant, I think that's how you pronounce his name, who's a reporter for the 48 Hours show, had an interview with the CEO of Kick, Ted Livingston. Mr. Livingston, how are you? With CBS News, I just want to ask you a quick question. What personal responsibility do you have to make sure that children are safe who use the Kick app? And Ted Livingston replies, yeah, I think I have a huge responsibility. I'm sure you're familiar with a 13-year-old girl in Virginia. What would you say to Nicole's parents? Like, when we heard about the case, that hit the office. That hit me super hard. Now, I'm not sure when in the conversation he said this. I think it's no different than Facebook or Snapchat or Instagram. You know, you have bad people going around. Now, the conversation they had is a lot longer, but that's just one section. I wanted to highlight this last part. Although I agree every platform has their bad apples, I disagree that it's no different from Snapchat, whatever. It allows for kids as young as 13 to use the app, right? While simultaneously not filtering out the NSFW content that shows up like literally all over the freaking app, bro. Especially on the live stream feature of the app. They insist on keeping Kick around, bro. They might as well make it an 18+ app, bro. If you made it this far into the video, comment down below. How about booey moment? Make sure you follow the Twitter. Make sure you buy some drip. SwinAndClothes.com. Also, you know, don't get extremely comfortable with this kind of content because one day I want to make those long form, hour-long videos, bro. One day I'll like whatever I want. Like Empleman does. That's what I want to do one day. But you know, for now, I'm gonna do this dark, morbid, whatever type stuff. Bye bye. When I'm on YouTube, I be like Swinane. Eating my chicken noodle soup just like Swinane. When I hit that name.